Stop studying. No, seriously, you are absolutely, positively wasting your precious time if you're hitting the books like most students do. Think about it. Have you ever crammed for hours, chugging coffee like it's water, only to stare blankly at the exam paper the next day? My friend A. Sunday used to call that learning to forget. Well, it's time to fire that old study strategy. By the time you finish this, you won't just learn how to study, you'll learn how to conquer knowledge with less effort and more actual retention. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water, but it's got more holes than a golf course. No matter how much you pour in, most of it leaks out. Frustrating, right? That's your brain on passive studying. The big lie. Why your old study habits are robbing you blind. Most students spend hours trying to absorb information, but their brains don't retain much of it. And the worst part? They don't even realize it's happening. They feel productive, they feel busy, but they're just spinning their wheels. Let's expose the biggest study crimes that are making your study sessions almost useless, leaving you exhausted and underperforming. Secret 1. The highlighting hoax and the rereading myth. Ready for a gut punch? You know that colorful ritual? Highlighting your textbooks like it's a masterpiece, rereading your notes until your eyes cross. Most students swear by it. Here's the shocking truth that studies have been screaming for decades. Rereading has a retention rate of only a miserable 10%. That means if you reread a chapter today, by next week you'll forget 90% of it. Poof, gone. It feels productive because your brain recognizes the words on the page. But recognition, my friend, is not understanding. It's not memorization. It's like watching the same movie over and over. Does that make you a film director? No, you're just getting familiar with the plot. It's the academic equivalent of flexing in the mirror without lifting any weights.
Secret 2. The cramming catastrophe and your brain's junk mail filter. Confession time. Who here hasn't pulled an all-nighter fueled by questionable snacks and an ocean of caffeine trying to jam an entire semester into their brain? We've all done it. It's like trying to force a week's worth of clothes into a carry-on suitcase while sitting on it. But cramming doesn't work long-term. Sure, you might remember some for that immediate test, but within a few days, most of that information vanishes faster than your motivation on a Monday morning. Here's why. Your brain, bless its efficient little circuits, treats crammed information like junk mail. It throws it away because it knows you don't really need it. You're just forcing it in without giving your brain a compelling reason to hold on to it. And if you think, well, I only need to remember it for the test, here's a hard truth. The students who actually master the material, who truly understand it, will always outperform you in the long run. Not just in class, but in college and certainly in their careers. Your future boss won't accept "I crammed for the interview" as an excuse. Secret 3. The passive pitfall. Why you're drowning, not swimming. Ever tried to learn how to swim by just reading a book about swimming? Then you jump into the pool expecting to be Michael Phelps? Of course not. You'd sink like a stone. Yet when it comes to studying, most students do exactly that. They read the textbook, watch a lecture, maybe even scroll through a summary, and assume they've learned the material. They are consuming, not creating. Unless you actively engage with the information by testing yourself, explaining it out loud, or practicing it, it won't stick. It's like having all the ingredients for a cake, but never actually baking it. You've got the potential, but no delicious result. The game-changing shift. Retention. Greater than consumption. Now that we've dragged your old ineffective study habits behind the barn, let's talk about the actual way to study. Here's the core truth that flips everything you thought you knew on its head. Studying isn't about how much time you spend, it's about how much you retain. Some students study for 3 hours and forget everything the next day. Others study for 1 hour and remember most of it for life. The difference? How they study. Most people treat studying like mindless repetition, a chore. But real learning happens when your brain is actively challenged, when it struggles just a little, when it makes connections, and when it retrieves information on its own. This is where we unlock retention greater than consumption.
Secret 4. The Learning Pyramid. Your blueprint to becoming a knowledge ninja. Let me introduce you to a concept that will fundamentally change how you approach every single study session. The Learning Pyramid. Prepare for another shocker. At the bottom, the least effective, we have reading, a measly 10% retention. So if you just read your textbook, you're pretty much letting 90% of it evaporate. Next, lectures. Sitting and listening, about 20% retention. Moving up, watching demonstrations, maybe 30%. But here's where it gets powerful, where you stop being a knowledge SpongeBob and start being a knowledge Bruce Lee. When you actively engage with the information, retention skyrockets. Practicing a concept, that's 75% retention. And the Grandmaster level? Teaching it to someone else. A whopping 90% retention. That means if you truly want to remember what you study, you need to stop just passively taking it in. You need to start actively recalling, teaching, and applying the information. And that's exactly what we're breaking down, step by step, right now. Secret 5. Active recall and the Feynman technique. Force your brain to flex. If you want to remember more in half the time, you need a strategy called active recall. This forces your brain to lift the weight. Instead of passively taking in information, you pull it out from memory, which is what makes it stick. It's like going to the gym for your brain, but instead of bicep curls, you're doing knowledge deadlifts. And the best way to do this? 2 science-backed power moves. Strategy 1, the Feynman technique. As Day says, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Pick a concept, anything, and try to teach it to a 5-year-old. No, seriously, if you struggle, go back and relearn the parts you got stuck on. This brutally honest exercise shows you exactly where the gaps in your knowledge are. Refine your explanation until it's crystal clear. This works because teaching forces your brain to organize information, making it easier to recall later. And if a 5-year-old gives you a blank stare, it's not their fault, it's yours. Strategy 2, past papers and self-quizzing. Here's a fact. The top students don't study more, they test themselves more. Instead of just rereading, they actively quiz themselves using flashcards, past exam papers, or self-made quizzes. A real-world case study at a top university showed students who quizzed themselves before studying scored 50% higher on exams than those who just read their notes. Think about that for a second. 50% higher. That's the difference between, "Woo, I passed," and "Nailed it, boss."
Secret 6. Spaced repetition and the forgetting curve. Hack your memory like a pro. Did you know you forget 50% of what you learned within an hour? Yes, within 60 minutes, half your efforts go poof. This is called the forgetting curve, and it's why cramming fails so spectacularly. Your brain is wired to forget things it doesn't regularly use. It's a survival mechanism, not a personal vendetta against your grades. But here's the good news. You can hack your memory to remember more with less effort. Instead of trying to memorize everything in one sitting, which is like trying to eat an entire pizza in one bite, spread it out over time. This is spaced repetition. Here's how to use it in 3 simple yet incredibly powerful steps. Day 1. Learn the material. Focus, understand, do your active recall. Day 3. Quick review, approximately 10 minutes. Just a quick refresh to tell your brain, hey, this is important. Day 7. Self-test without notes. Force yourself to recall it. If you stumble, review that specific part. This simple cycle repeatedly pushes back that forgetting curve, making information stick in your long-term memory like superglue. Secret 7. The habit hacks. Make studying easy, automatic, and burnout-proof. Okay, so you've got the best study techniques in your arsenal. But even the best techniques are useless if you don't use them consistently. The real challenge is sticking to a routine. Most people struggle because they procrastinate, they get overwhelmed, they burn out. Let's fix that with 3 ridiculously simple habit hacks.
Hack 1. The 2-minute rule. This is a psychological trick that obliterates procrastination. Instead of telling yourself, I have to study for an hour, tell yourself, I'll just read 1 page. Or, I'll just do 1 flashcard. Just 2 minutes. Once you start, your brain almost always shifts into might as well keep going mode. It's like telling yourself you'll just put on your running shoes and suddenly you're halfway through a marathon. Act 2. Habit stacking. Attach studying to a routine you already do. After brushing your teeth, review 1 flashcard. After breakfast, do a 5-minute quiz. After dinner, summarize 1 concept in your own words. By linking it to an existing automatic habit, studying becomes automatic too, just like brushing your teeth. No willpower required, just good old brain trickery. Hack 3. Avoid burnout with the Pomodoro technique. If studying feels like a marathon, your brain will resist. It's a smart brain. It knows when you're setting it up for pain. Instead, use the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of deep, focused work, followed by a 5-minute break. Repeat 4 times, then take a longer break, 20 to 30 minutes. This keeps your brain fresh, your focus sharp, and prevents the dreaded burnout. Final truth. Consistency is king. And queen and the entire royal court. Here's the hard truth, the ultimate secret that binds all these secrets together. Even the best study techniques won't help you if you don't use them consistently. Most students cram for hours the night before and then wonder why they forget everything, why a Sunday always beats them. But the real secret, the true power, is this. Small, daily, consistent effort beats last-minute panic every single time. It's not about heroics, it's about habits. If this video finally opened your eyes to how you actually learn, hit that like button. And subscribe so you never miss another game-changing tip from A Sunday's Secret Playbook. Because if you think these secrets were powerful, wait until you see the next video where we dive deep into advanced memory techniques to literally double your retention in half the time. You do not want to miss that. Now go crush it.